Welcome, everybody, to Straight Shoot, a wrestling podcast. I am here today with our new partner, Heel Kev. Kev, we finally dropped the guest host and made it official. It's almost like going steady with a girlfriend. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. You're kind of screwed, by the way, because as a guest, I'm like, okay, I need to keep doing this so they like me and keep bringing me back. Now that I'm a permanent part, now the Titanic meets the iceberg, okay?
Yeah, just remember what happened with all the people that were on the Titanic. We can easily just make sure you don't fit on that door and freeze to death.
We can share the door, dang it.
Oh, God. Well, Kev, today we've got kind of an interesting topic. We're going to get actually real, and we're going to make Straight Shoot an actual shoot, because we're going to talk about the dissension between Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, not just in the storyline, but actually in the backstage situation, the professional situation that they have going on right now. Over the WrestleMania weekend, we saw quite a few interviews with one Ariel Helwani over on BT Sports between Seth and Cody Rhodes, where they both openly admitted that there is some actual real life heat and there is no professional outside relationship, minus the 3 matches that they did. Cody has opened up and said, you know what, I love Becky, she's a great girl, but Seth and I just don't have that relationship, and we personally just both don't like each other, and we don't know why. Kev, we've seen this before in professional wrestling. Sean, Brett, a little bit of heat between Hunter and a lot of the guys backstage. Brock Lesnar really not liking anyone. He just came to work and made his money and left. Kev, what's your opinion on this? Because we've got arguably 2 of the top guys in the business right now that we are going to see a future feud with again. But this is I find this concerning that 2 guys like this, in a day and age where it's so open to the public that we can get this information, and they both openly just said, yeah, we don't like each other.
So it baffles me that they don't like each other. And I'm gonna go off in left field here for just a second, but I promise it's all gonna make sense in a moment. We both saw the Seth Rollins clip where he's like, I feel like based on my body of work, I should be in that position. And look, nobody can take that away from Seth. Seth is one of the top professional wrestlers in the world. But where I'm coming at it from, I feel like there's a lot of displaced anger. Now, we are only privy to the information that we have. We don't know every last minor detail. Something could have happened that we don't know about. But from what I know and what I've seen, it's almost like, you know how when 2 people are in a relationship and somebody cheats, the person that got cheated on gets mad at the person they cheated with, not the actual cheater. It's like in this relationship, Vince and Seth are together. Vince cheated on Seth with Cody, and Seth is mad at Cody. Cody didn't do anything wrong. Vince is the one who cheated on you.
Mm-hmm.
Be mad at him.
Yeah.
Because Cody doesn't book himself. Cody doesn't make the matches. Now, were there stipulations to his contract coming back? Maybe. I wasn't there for the contract negotiations. You weren't there for the contract negotiations. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say everybody watching this wasn't there for the contract negotiations.
Mm-hmm.
So we speculate what was in that contract. We can speculate what Cody wanted, but nobody knows for sure. All we know for sure is Cody doesn't book his own matches. So it baffles me. Like I said, for me, it's like being mad at the person that your significant other cheated with instead of being mad at the actual cheater, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I understand that, but we did get a little bit of privyness to Cody's contract when he came back. He was guaranteed a world title run. But this was before he blew his pec out, but he was guaranteed a world title run. He was guaranteed main event kind of status. And this also falls into the Roman conversation, where it's like Roman has this very interesting part-time schedule contract where he's got the big money, but he only has to work select dates. And for myself, I look at Seth, I've been to quite a few house shows over the last 6 months, And Seth has worked them all. So he's still working like the grinder's contract, even though he's getting the 3.2 that he's getting over the year. He's getting some good money, like very good money. But I can see where, Seth can be angry because honestly, what he's done, he's a company man. And as you know, with any company man, you've worked in industries where, you need to, do the time for the company and you need to stay loyal. I've worked for companies as well. I've worked for brands that I've had brand loyalty, and Seth's one of those guys. You're never going to see Seth. Well, again, never say never. You're never going to see Seth jumping ship and going over and becoming Tyler Black again over in AEW. You're not going to see that because he's been so loyal and been put in such a big body of work in WWE. But I do feel for him because I do feel that there is a bit of a short stick being handed towards him, and it's kind of changed because since that segment or the 3 matches with Cody and Seth, it's kind of like Seth's been put on the back burner and Cody's been elevated. Before, when Cody got back, Seth was getting elevated and Cody was kind of just the new guy in the show, right?
No, I completely get that, and I am not taking away from Seth's feelings about it, and especially Roman's. Not to say that Roman has any or that he doesn't, but when you look at a guy like Roman, somebody who has been grinding and putting on banger after banger, even if he does work a lighter schedule, and then somebody comes in their contract, if we read between the lines, and somewhere in the contract it says, hey, if Roman still has the title at a certain time, you're going to be the one that takes it from him. And then Roman's like, look, I've been here all this time, and now you're just gonna bring somebody in and tell him like, hey, you're guaranteed a title run, not a title shot, a title run. So I completely get why Seth would be upset consistently for WWE. Even going back to the Shield days, the Shield was one of the hottest things on the show since the Shield broke up. The Architect, the Kingslayer, the Beast Slayer, the Messiah, all of Seth's segments have been amazing. Now the Messiah for me kind of fell a little flat, but it was awesome for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And when you've grinded that long and you've put that much into the company, and you've really put the company before everything, it does burn a little bit. It's, I can remember getting jobs and stuff where I had been there for years,
mm-hmm.
and somebody gets hired on, and the day they get hired on, they get hired in a higher position than I was, even though I've been there with the company longer and I'm qualified to hold that position.
Yeah.
It does sting a little bit. It does sting. The only thing that I could really go back to, and I'm not trying to justify it or take away from it, Seth has really done everything there is to do.
Mm-hmm.
He's held the heavyweight. He's held the Universal. He's a Grand Slam, Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble winner. I mean, really the only thing that he hasn't got off his check sheet, and if you can consider it to be a box on his list, is the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which, let's be honest, at this point is beneath Seth.
Yes, absolutely. Kev, I'm just gonna, pull up the interview. First off, the interview with Ariel Helwani and Cody Rhodes, talking about Seth. I felt it's almost like Cody is so well spoken in he is just so well spoken, even when he's I'm just gonna say this, he's very careful with his words.
He's very calculated.
Yes.
Reads the dictionary.
Yeah, like he has one of those vocabularies that will forever be bigger than mine. I just want to pull this up.
Do you really hate Seth Rollins? You really want to punch him in the face? What's going on here? 'Cause this one went everywhere.
Yeah, it did. And sometimes you're like, sometimes it sucks when you do an interview and that one bite, you're like, oh, Cody goes to therapy. That's going to be the bite from this one. Like,
no, you gave us so much.
Yeah, like the bite, like the one bite, you're like, there were so many other beautiful things we talked about. I can't tell you, and if you ask Seth the same thing, I'm not going to fight Seth backstage. We're not going to walk by each other and fight each other. I'm not going to throw a water bottle at him as I walk by him. But we really do not like one another.
Do not or did not?
Do not.
Why?
And still do not. And I don't think there's a specific reason other than perhaps professional jealousy. I was very jealous of him. I watched the heist of the century. It's one of the most amazing WrestleMania moments of all time. And now we're in a situation where he's wrestling Logan Paul in a huge marquee matchup, and he's still, though, I'm on top of the card. So I think maybe it's shifted a bit. I can't speak for him. You might want to ask him. I like Becky. She's great and wonderful, but yeah, him and I do not like each other.
Even after what happened, in June and the magic of those 3 matches, like all that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe when we're like old men and you do like the conventions and stuff, maybe we'll finally like Pete Rose and Nolan Ryan get along these days. But I don't think they got along back in the day. I think that's kind of where we're at.
Did you feel that way last year as well?
I don't think we've ever liked one another.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it's just a lifelong dislike. Well, we don't say hate. No hate.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of respect though. I
Right.
often tell people I think he's one of the top 3 in the world. I really, really do.
Is it hard to work with someone that you feel that way about?
God damn it, Cody.
Yeah, so you listen to something like that, Kev, and you sit back and you wonder what's really going on backstage, and does he when he says things like that, do you really think that it might be more of a work, or do you really think there's some tension?
When it comes to Cody, it's so hard to read between the lines because he is such a professional. The vocabulary he uses, the words he chooses to say, like even in that clip, he says, I saw Heist of the Century, one of the most iconic moments in our history, and I was jealous of him.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't put the blame all on Seth. He takes that blame himself, and it's really hard to say whether he's working or whether he's not. And that's what makes him, in my opinion, so freaking good.
Yeah.
And to Seth's credit, he's the same way, because in his, you don't know if he's shooting,
Yeah,
or if he's working. It's so hard to tell. But if we have to take what they say at face value, I think Cody put it the best way: professional jealousy. At some points, you have to realize some nights you're up, some nights you're down, and nobody likes to admit the nights they're down.
Yeah.
Seth's had his highs, and now Cody's in, he's doing his. And Cody even brought up the fact that, he's working Logan Paul, which is a good match in its own right, but I'm at the top of the card. I'm in a sold out SoFi Stadium. And it's not easy, especially when you feel like you should be in that position. But to answer the original question, is he working or is he shooting? I can't call it, man. I can't call it.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna watch it. We're gonna watch about 30 or 40 seconds of the Seth Rollins and Daniel Cormier clip here. And what I find very interesting about these 2 clips is how evenly these 2 sound when it comes to the despise or the professional jealousy, if that's what we want to call it. Everything Cody says, obviously it's very calculated, very analytical, very to the point, and a very eloquently put. Seth is virtually on the exact same page with the words that he uses. It's just very much Seth Rollins. He's not throwing any shade. He's not throwing any heat, but he's literally just saying we don't like each other. So Kev, I'm going to play this one right now, and we'll come back to it in a second. Okay.
What's the state of your relationship with Cody?
I can't get into too many details on that. There's a level of truth to that. But I mean, look, the bottom line is I feel, based on my body of work and what I've contributed to this company over the course of the last decade, really, I should be in that position, right? I'm the one who has held it down while he drifted off and went and did his own thing. Respect to him for that, great. He drifted off, did his own thing. I'm the one who held it down. When everybody got hurt or did something else or went off or took part-time schedules or wanted less and wanted to do less and ask for more or wanted to go somewhere else because they weren't happy. You don't think there's been plenty of times when I haven't been happy or plenty of times when I haven't felt like I've been on the short end of the stick? And there's tons of stories I could tell about that, but I don't. I keep it to myself. I put my head down. I work hard. I vouch for this company. I vouch for this place. And I feel like what he's getting is not. I'm just not entirely comfortable with it, and I don't know any other way to put it than that.
Yeah.
And I think that just creates.
All right, Kev. So after watching that, there's one comment that that he said there is, I'm not entirely comfortable with it. He goes across and says when he was injured, or when everyone was injured, everybody want more money and everything. He was there doing the work. He goes, you don't think I was angry at points? I wasn't happy. He addresses Cody running off and creating AEW with the Elite. But he basically is saying, I'm not comfortable with why Cody is in the position he's in. How do you break that down? Is Seth not comfortable with it because he sees more value in himself, or he sees no value in Cody?
I don't think it's that he doesn't see value in himself, and I don't think it's that he doesn't see value in Cody. First off, I commend both of them for making it very clear that they do respect each other.
Yep.
That mutual respect is there, and they're such professionals. And you really get that feeling. But honestly, and this could just be me reading too far into it, I think what makes Seth uncomfortable is what Cody represents. And that is simply, if you are a big name somewhere else, if you go cut your teeth somewhere else and then you come over here, you're automatically going to get put in front of everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
If you are big in AEW, if you're big in Ring of Honor, Japan, wherever the case may be, Impact Wrestling, if you're a big enough name and you have enough stock, when you come in, you're not going to go to NXT like Drew McIntyre and Bobby Roode and Samoa Joe all had to do. You're not going to be put into a faction like Tyler Black, Seth Rollins was. You're going to be shot right to these big match cards. You're going to be shot right to these main events. And I don't necessarily think it's about Cody because of the way they talked about each other, because of the respect that they have each other. It's not that these two just, it's on sight. The second I see you, we're throwing hands. It's not that. So, and once again, it could just be me looking too far into it. I think Seth is uncomfortable with what this represents and what the perception is everything. What the message perceives to be to everybody else who's out there doing good things in pro wrestling. Hey, if your name is big enough out there and you come to WWE, you're going to jump in front of Drew. You're going to jump in front of Sheamus. You're going to jump in front of Seth. And you're going to be right up at the top. So come on over and do it.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, or a good way of pointing that out. It's interesting though, because they were so respectful again in talking about each other, and both such constant professionals at all times. My thing is, what happens when Roman drops the title? Because evidently we're gonna get the Roman dropping the title to Cody at SummerSlam. I think that's a foregone conclusion. He gets his 1,000 days. He moves past Bruno Sammartino in that 5th spot. Now, with that being said, do we get a long-term story of Cody holding till Mania, getting his Mania moment potentially? And if so, does he feud with Seth? And does this then build more frustration with Seth because Seth keeps losing?
Okay, there we go. Very easy, simple fix.
Split the titles!
It's that easy. Split the daggum titles. Let one go to Raw. Let one go to SmackDown. Split the titles coming together. It had that big fight feel with Roman and with Lesnar, and it did what it was supposed to do. Split the dead-gum titles.
Okay, I get that, but I think my question was more of Cody's on Raw, Seth's on Raw. Both of them, we're not looking like the brand split is going to be a thing anymore unless they do split the titles again. But really, there's no one else currently, minus Gunther. If Drew's contract negotiations come through and he stays, there's no one really that is Cody and Seth's level that I can see to make marquee matches for Philly.
No.
That's where I'm at with this.
Okay. Yeah, I completely misunderstood. And to the viewers, I apologize for that unneeded rant. But to answer your original question, this is not a shot at anybody. And there is a lot of time between now in Philly to make this decision. There's a lot of time between now and Philly for people to grow their brand, grow their stuff. Look what Sheamus has done simply from Clash at the Castle.
Yep.
Talk about putting value in yourself.
Yeah.
So can it be done? Absolutely. But sitting here right now with you today and knowing how WWE likes to plan Mania and work backwards to get to it, if that decision had to be made right now, right here today, no offense to anybody else, I don't think there's given the understanding that Roman's not going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there is a bigger match for Philly, a bigger main event, or a bigger match that's going to put asses in seats than Cody versus Seth.
Yeah, main event. Like, I honestly, I can say it now, and this is a year in advance. I think the main event, night 2 of WrestleMania, is Cody Seth Rollins. It has to be.
As big a Cody fan as I am, Steve, you know this from us being together this past weekend in Miami. As big a Cody fan as I am, Seth can't go 0-4.
Well, he beat Logan.
I'm talking about in the Cody trilogy.
Oh, in the Cody trilogy? Exactly. So what do you think? But can Cody go 0-2?
I'm talking about against just Seth.
I know, but can Cody lose 2 at Mania in a row?
Ooh, that's a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Yeah, buddy. This is where I'm sitting here. Like, you've got 2 big match guys. Like I said to Santi the other day, we were talking about where the levels are. And we had Roman basically at the top of the pyramid in, quote, God mode. Then there's everybody else currently, the way WWE has booked it. Personally, I still see Seth on Roman's level personally, but that's just me. So remove Roman, we have a flat surface, and Cody and Seth are the 2 marquee guys in the business right now. And can you see Seth not getting his WrestleMania moment and winning a title, or at least main eventing WrestleMania? And then can you see Cody being the guy and going 0-2? Yeah, that's a whole conversation in itself.
No, it really is, because like I wasn't even thinking about like the WrestleMania record or WrestleMania. I was just thinking Cody versus Seth. And when you look at it like that, Seth clearly has to win because Seth put him over 3 times.
Yep.
He's 0-3 against Cody.
Yep.
But then you look at the WrestleMania thing, and it's like, is Cody really going to go 0-2 in his first 2 years? And now you're like, you know, what was clear and cut, there's a lot of gray area there. And I'm glad we are the ones who get to talk about the decisions that get made and not the ones who have to make that decision.
Because at the end of the day, someone's not going to be happy. Someone's going to go home disappointed between these 2. And I think with the inner animosity between the 2 of them and what this whole topic is about is the professional jealousy between the 2 of them. This could be what you just said, that double-edged sword where somebody's going to go home really pissed off and creative is going to have a hell of an issue on their hands, especially if we do. And I'm not even going to go down that road, but say creative stays what it was going into WrestleMania this year and not what we're dealing with in this current week. I really think somebody in creative is going to have a really big decision to make come WrestleMania 40.
No, 100%. I mean, it's happened throughout time. We can go as recently as with Cody right now this past year. Remained undefeated all year. Lost to WrestleMania. Hey, you've only lost 1. Yeah, but it was WrestleMania.
Yep.
That's the one you want to win. And then we go back to WCW, Hogan versus Sting, where they built that for an entire year. Everybody thought Sting was going to get the title. He loses at the biggest show of the year, but then wins it the very next night. It doesn't matter. Because he didn't win he didn't win the big one.
Yeah.
The big one's the one that matters. You can string together all these wins. You can have all these title runs. You can win Money in the Bank and Royal Rumble in the same year. If you don't win at Mania, it's all for naught.
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, I think that's where we're going to end it. Guys, let us know in the comments. This is a very interesting topic, and if you want to see us cover more topics like this on Straight Shoot, let us know in the comments. Let us know some rivalries you might want us to talk about, some legendary runs that you might want us to talk about. Kevin, officially, where can people find you?
Guys, you can find me every single weeknight at 7:15 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/HeelKevin. On every other platform, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, I'm HeelKevin1. I'm Heel Kevin 1 everywhere, even on Xbox and all that other stuff. Heel Kevin 1. But on Twitch, Heel Kevin every weeknight, 7:15. Would love to see you there.
Guys, and you can find me at twitch.tv/Mr. Tesh. I will be streaming a bit more consistently in the coming weeks throughout the summer, and also on all Straight Shoot platforms. Don't forget to go follow us at straightshoot.locals.com. And other than that, guys, be well.